So on January 28, 2026, Meta announced a fundamental strategic pivot, a move that signals they're leaving behind the social media model that defined them for 2 decades. In this analysis, we're going to deconstruct their new strategy, which is centered on this massive idea they're calling personal superintelligence.
To really grasp the gravity of this shift, we have to start with this number, 3.5 billion. That's the number of people using their apps every single day. This isn't just about scale. This is the very foundation for a global infrastructure that's aimed at giving every individual their own AI agency.
So here's how we'll break it down. We'll start with the end of the social media era. Then we'll define this new thesis of personal superintelligence. After that, we'll dive into the 3 core pillars that support it: the context moat, the new infrastructure, and the human element. And finally, we'll look at what this means for the entire industry.
That announcement on January 28th, it wasn't just another update. It marked the official end of Meta's traditional social media era. The company is now fundamentally redefining its relationship with every single one of its users.
And that brings us to the core thesis of the entire strategy: personal superintelligence. The goal is to completely evolve the user experience, to move away from passive content consumption, the hallmark of the old algorithm, to active, goal-oriented achievement, all powered by AI.
This really frames the shift perfectly. For more than a decade, the whole model was recommendation, algorithms finding content for you. It's a model Zuckerberg himself now calls primitive. The new paradigm is generation. This is where an AI understands what you want to achieve and actually generates content or takes actions to help you get there.
And you can hear the end game right there in Zuckerberg's own words. He's describing a future where the AI is the primary interface. The fundamental change is that the AI's understanding of you is what dictates the content. And that, right there, is a profound inversion of Meta's entire historical model. So let's move to the first pillar and see how they plan to build this. They call it the context moat. This is where Meta believes its true defensible advantage lies. You see, the AI race is shifting. It's no longer about who has the biggest language model, but who has the most intimate and useful data to apply to it. The context moat, then, is the combination of all of Meta's user data: your history, your interests, the content you share, and maybe most importantly, your relationship graph. It's this incredibly rich context that allows the AI to evolve from just a simple chatbot into a highly personalized and truly effective digital assistant. A prime example of this is what they're calling agentic commerce, especially on WhatsApp. So instead of you browsing a catalog, an AI agent finds the products you need, it handles the transaction through messaging, and it can even make suggestions based on what it knows about your personal goals. This transforms messaging into a full-scale, highly personalized commerce engine. Of course, a vision this grand requires an equally ambitious physical foundation. And that brings us to Pillar 2, the new infrastructure. This covers the massive investment in the hardware and compute power that's necessary to make personal superintelligence a reality for billions of people. At the heart of this hardware strategy is a really bold claim that we are now in the smartphone moment for AI glasses. The idea is that just as smartphones completely replace flip phones, these AI-enabled glasses are about to become the next dominant personal computing platform. And this isn't just theory. The data is already showing some serious momentum, with sales of Meta's AI glasses tripling in 2025. This kind of rapid adoption is exactly why the company is focusing the majority of its Reality Labs investment right here, because these glasses provide the sensory input, seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, that a truly personal AI needs. Powering all of this is Meta Compute. It's a full-stack strategy with 3 parts. First, they're developing custom silicon to reduce their dependency on other vendors. Second, they're aiming for energy mastery to control costs at a gigawatt scale. And third, they're forging strategic partnerships to navigate complex global supply chains and sovereign capital. And this is a crucial point. Meta no longer sees its data centers as just a corporate expense. It now treats its AI infrastructure as a strategic, almost sovereign asset, something comparable to a nation's energy grid or its telecommunications network. It's that critical.
All right, let's move to the final pillar, which is, well, it's perhaps the most radical of all, the human element. To actually execute an AI-native strategy, Meta is completely re-architecting its internal culture and its organizational structure. It's a whole new philosophy of work.
The core concept here is the 10x individual.
Zuckerberg's point is that projects that once required massive teams can now be done by a single, highly talented person, as long as they're empowered by advanced internal AI tools. The entire organization is being rebuilt around this one principle.
The blueprint for this is twofold. First, they're flattening teams, just removing layers of management to empower individual contributors directly. And second, there's a massive investment in building AI-native tools internally, with a very explicit goal of making every single employee 10 times more productive.
So what does this all mean when you put it together? It signals a complete industry reset. Meta is using its immense scale and its unique data to try and leapfrog the competition, effectively moving the goalposts from the generic chatbot to the deeply integrated personal AI.
This timeline really shows the rapid acceleration in the space. 2023 was defined by the chatbot, 2024 introduced the AI agent. Meta's roadmap is now positioning 2026 as the year of personal superintelligence. And in doing so, they're aiming to define the entire next stage of human-computer interaction.
And this leaves us with the defining question for the next decade. Meta has clearly stated its ambition and laid out its strategic pillars. With the battlefield now defined around this intimate, personalized form of AI, the race is on to see who will ultimately own the primary relationship between humanity and its emerging digital self.